What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel. So I asked all of you guys to vote on your favorite Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 map on a Google form. In Garden Warfare 2, there are a lot of maps, 17 to be exact, and that's including the Backyard Battleground and Walnut Hills. So I asked you all to vote on your favorite map, and out of every single vote, there was 385 votes. That is an astonishing number. So thank you to everybody who voted. So in this video, I will be going over every single map from lowest votes to most votes to see what is the best map in Garden Warfare 2 in the community's eyes. Obviously, not everybody in the community voted, so I'm not going to be saying that the highest map is the best, the lowest map is the worst. Obviously, I'm not going to say that. This is just for fun. And yeah, so let's get into it. If you guys do want to enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. If you guys are new, subscribe. And let's get to number 17. So coming up at number 17 was actually a very big surprise for me because this is actually not that bad of a map in my eyes. The worst map in Garden Warfare 2 for this poll was Sandy Sands with 2 votes. Yes, 2 votes out of 385. What? I mean, okay. Listen, it's not a great map, all right? You have the sandstorms. All right, I understand. Sometimes it's kind of unfair because it's kind of like Time Park, where when you're at the height advantage, the whole team is at the top and they have the height. It's a little unfair. All right, I understand. But 2 votes? Wow, that is crazy. 2 votes out of 385 for Sandy Sands. Oh my goodness. Coming in at number 16, you kind of guessed it, is Time Park with 5 votes. I do not understand how people like this map, like really at all. So having 5 votes is a lot more than I thought would even be on here. I mean, there's really not much to explain on here other than the 5 people who like this map. They're probably blind, to be honest with you. If you chose this map, good for you, I guess. Coming in at number 15 with 7 votes is Frosty Creek. Now, this is a surprise to me because Frosty Creek is one of the better maps, in my opinion. It is such a nice map. It's pretty well designed. I think that it plays really well, especially on Gnome Bomb. If you guys haven't noticed, a lot of Gnome Bomb matches on this map go for a long time. That's because they're very balanced. I don't understand how Frosty Creek got 7 votes. It is the 3rd worst map in the community's eyes. I mean, alright, but that kind of hurts me inside a little bit. I really like Frosty Creek. Coming in at number 14 and 13, tied with 8 votes, 16 votes altogether, is Zen Peak and Boney Island. I can understand both of these not being very well liked. I mean, honestly, Boney Island is kind of a meh map. I mean, there's a lot of cover in this map, so that's why I don't like it. There's not really much open space for this map, and Zen Peak is a little bit of the same. I think Zen Peak is also a little bit too covered. I think there's really not enough space to just kind of move freely and attack. So, I mean, I understand this. I mean, they're both, okay. I can understand how people dislike these maps. But coming in this low is kind of a surprise to me. They're not terrible, obviously. I mean, they're still very good maps, but yeah. Coming in at number 12 and 11, also tied, but this time with 9 votes, 18 together, Colosseum and Lunar Landing. All right, I understand Lunar Landing. Lunar Landing, probably one of the worst maps in the entire game, obviously, because the low gravity just really doesn't fit well. It is really annoying, and especially on Team Vanquish and Gnome Bomb, it really does cancel a lot of abilities out. Like, obviously, for example, like Torchwood, you can't really use your Blazing Blast mid-air. Burrowing is a lot more difficult in this map because people can jump around like crazy. But the Colosseum, I mean, that is probably a top 5 map, to be honest with you. Colosseum is a good map, if not maybe the best Team Vanquish map in the game. It is so well designed, with the outer area being protected with a lot of cover, the inside area having high ground on the sides, and in the middle is the low ground. I think that is an awesome design for a map. I think all games that have a Team Vanquish or Team Deathmatch game mode should have something like this. Honestly, there's no side on either of these maps that have the advantage. Whatever side you spawn on, you don't have an advantage over the other, and that's what I think makes this map really competitively good. I mean, it's also super fun to play, really awesome to look at. The visuals on this map are amazing. So honestly, I do not understand how it's even close to this low. But again, I can understand Lunar Landing. It really is not that great. Coming in at number 10 with 12 votes is going to be Moonbase Z. Coming in with our first turf takeover map, I completely understand this. I mean, Moonbase Z is really bad. It's like Lunar Landing. They're basically in the same area. It's like Lunar Landing, but worse because it is turf takeover. So yeah, you're trying to capture with the defenders being able to go to high points in the map to have a big advantage over you, or the other way around where the attackers are allowed to go on high points to attack you. So it really isn't the best map, one of the worst maps, honestly. So I understand how it's low, but I mean, it's a little high for my liking. But yeah, that is Moonbase Z. Coming in at number 9 with 16 votes is going to be Zomburbia. Zomburbia, good map. Absolutely solid placement. Although I will say it gets old after a while because I feel like this map gets chosen over like every turf takeover map ever. Even though there is a rotation, every time I load into a match, it's either obviously when I'm not recording, it's always Zomburbia or Zombopolis. So yeah, Zomburbia is a very good map. And yeah, I really have not much else to say about that. Coming in at number 8 with 23 votes is going to be Frontline Flats. Honestly, yes. Yes. Clap that up, because Frontline Flats is a good map. Whoever chose Frontline Flats, I salute you, because Frontline Flats is such a fun map to play, and it's also very visually pleasing. It's just simple. It really is a simple map. It's 2 sides, one human side, one zombie side, and a big wall. But there are holes in the wall, so you can obviously attack, and it honestly is just such a fun map to play. Whenever I get Frontline Flats, I'm always happy. I know it's going to be a fun match, especially gnome bomb games, because again, it's kind of like Frosty Creek, where the gnome bomb games last for a very long time because of how well designed the map is, where it's very balanced and not one side has the advantage over the other. So yeah, Frontline Flats, pretty solid placement here. Coming up at number 7 with 28 votes is going to be Aqua Center. Honestly, yeah, I can agree with this. Aqua Center is pretty good, except for the fact that it's a little bit like Time Park, where the center is almost always dominated by one team, and that always leads to their victory. On the off chance that this does not happen, the map is very fun to play, and it is obviously a remake of Garden Center, so it's not really new. So I mean, I can't really say it's a super top tier map because it's not a Garden Warfare. I mean, it is a Garden Warfare exclusive map, but it's just a redesign. So technically, it is not the layout. But yeah, it's still a very solid map. I liked it in Garden Warfare 1. I like it more in Garden Warfare 2 because, you know, I like Aqua Center more than Garden Center, to be honest. And yeah, I think it's a very decent placement. Coming up at number 6 with 30 votes is going to be ZTech Factory. I think this should be a little higher because ZTech Factory is one of the better Team Vanquish maps, but coming in at number 6, you know, it's fair. But yeah, ZTech Factory, very solid map. There is one thing, however, I will say about this, and that is the Zombot that walks around. He sometimes just doesn't walk around, but he can walk around and shoot you, which kind of destroys the fun of it sometimes, but that honestly rarely ever happens, and if not, it makes the map cooler, to be honest, because having a giant robot walking through the battlefield, I mean, come on, that is freaking awesome. But yeah, ZTech Factory, I think, is probably, on average, a lot of people's favorite maps. It's usually the map that people will never say it's bad, because there's really, you know, it fits Garden Warfare 2 perfectly. It's a very futuristic map, and yeah, I think it just fits the game perfectly, and gameplay on it is amazing, and it's just really fun to play on. Coming in at number 5 with 32 votes, my personal favorite map in Garden Warfare 2, Great White North. I can accept it, alright? I'm mainly here just to tell you guys the votes, but it is my channel, so I obviously have to make it about me a little bit and tell you that Great White North, okay, it's fair placement here. I can see why people think it's a little bit bad being all white, and maybe some people are just annoyed with that, and it's not enough for them, not too many colors, which I can agree with. Sometimes gameplay on this is dominated by the zombies, but I have only seen that like maybe 3 times ever, but maybe it happens to other people. But yeah, really nothing bad to say about Great White North. And yeah, coming in at number 4 with 34 votes was the Backyard Battleground. I know it's a surprise having the Backyard Battleground on this list, but considering that it is big enough to be a map, and it also is a map in limited time modes, I decided to add it, and it made top 4, which is absolutely incredible, because the Backyard Battleground, if we could play this as a regular Team Vanquish map or Gnome Bomb map, I think this would be my favorite map in the game, because the Backyard Battleground is just so cool And it was obviously the most well-designed map in the entire game because you're in it literally as you start the game. It's the first ever map you're in, and you explore it. There's a bunch of things to do back there, maybe 20 hours worth of things to do back there, and it's just a hub for everything. So yeah, Backyard Battleground, amazing map, especially on the limited time modes like Taco Bandits. It is just so much fun to play on. Coming in our podium at number 3 with 45 votes is going to be Seeds of Time. All right, I completely understand this. I personally don't think it is the best map in the game, but I understand how people do. For people who are very bored of maps easily, bored of looking at the exact same color scheme and exact same houses all the time, I can understand why you like Seeds of Time because it completely changes every single time you capture a point. And I think that is brilliant. I think it's a perfectly well-designed map. And I honestly 100% do see how people love this map. I mean, it is amazing. The final objective is pretty mediocre, to be honest. It really isn't too special. It was already seen in Cactus Canyon and Garden Warfare 1 where you're just pushing something to the end of the point. But Garden Warfare 2, it worked in the first game, so, why fix it? It doesn't suck, but it honestly is very mediocre. And, yeah, so everything else in this map is awesome, but the final point is really where I think it kind of goes down a little bit, but it's still a very good map. Coming in at number 2 with 55 votes is Zombopolis. Yes, Zombopolis. I do not think it should be this high because I think it's too dark. I think it's too dreary, and I don't know. I mean, it's a good, well-designed map, but I think the colors on this map, if there was a daytime version of this map, yes. But when I play this map, it feels dark. I mean, it really doesn't feel that fun to play on because it's just, I don't know. The colors I don't like it. The nighttime just doesn't fit the mood. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest, but I can obviously see why people like this the most because obviously very well designed map. Last point, very unique and very fun. And yeah, coming in at number 1 with 62 out of the 385 total votes is going to be Walnut Hills. I guess people just love Garden Warfare 1 map so much that even in Garden Warfare 2, a Garden Warfare 1 map is the highest voted map. It's crazy to me because I see a lot of people complaining about Walnut Hills and how, you have characters like Electro Pea Shooters allowed in it. You got characters like Scuba Soldier allowed. You have a ton of characters that were added into Garden Warfare 2 that aren't supposed to be played on this map because they were, it was first in Garden Warfare 1, so it didn't anticipate, Electro Pea Shooter being on top of the playground, destroying you from up there with his detonation. So sometimes, in my eyes, it gets super annoying, especially if there's a ton of Electro Peas. There's really nothing the zombies can do about it. But yeah, Walnut Hills is a pretty solid map. I can agree with that. But yeah, it is, on this poll, the best map in Garden Warfare 2 to 62 people, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you to all 385 people for voting on this poll. I just still can't believe that some of those maps were as low as they were, as high as they were. But hey, this wasn't about me. This was all about you guys. And I know I put my personal touch on it, explaining on why it shouldn't have been that high or low. But if I just said the placement, this would have been a 2-minute video. So obviously I had to add my personal touch on it. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a like. If you guys are new, subscribe. I will most likely do another version of this for maybe characters, variant types like fire variants. But yeah, let me know if I should do one of these again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.